Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Trying to get back on a little bit more of a normal schedule, but as promised, I'm going to keep making these. I want to do 100 in a row. That's the goal. We're going to do it. If you guys like this page, feel free to subscribe, comment below, give it a thumbs up, share it. I don't know. Do what we got to do to help this page grow. I appreciate y'all. Got my coffee here, got my thoughts up here, so let's get rolling. So today I want to talk about the importance of how we activate our muscles during movement. And essentially there's two different kinds of ways we activate them. And if you guys saw my Instagram post, I mentioned this. And it's the idea of volitional versus reflexive in terms of how we activate our muscles. So volitional just means, I get a bug out of my coffee, your own effort, you, voluntary. When you lift a weight, like a deadlift, for example, it's a great example. The weight on the bar tells you in your body, well, how much force you need to produce, how much tension you need to produce. And in turn, you, with the effort, have to apply that force to move it under voluntary control. So if you're quote unquote just not awake to lift, or you just don't really want to try hard, you're not going to be able to lift very much. Your voluntary effort dictates the amount of force being produced, and in turn, the bar tells your brain how much force needs to be produced. So it's kind of a circular situation there. That is a model where under voluntary control, you're producing the efforts. The second example is involuntary or reflexive. In other words, there is some sort of reflex that initiates the production of force. Like when you jump and you hit the ground, you have a rapid stretch. That initiation of force is reflexive. You don't control it. It's not like you are going to be like, now I hit the ground, now I produce force. No, when you hit the ground, there's an immediate reflex. And that reflex initiates the force production. Now you might say, now I'm going to jump high after I've hit the ground. And that is the voluntary aspect of that. But the initiation is reflexive. In that, those two, voluntary versus reflexive, the models of force production are typically different. One is feedback. You're getting feedback while you lift the bar under voluntary effort. Feedback as to whether or not you're producing enough force. On the other end, you have a reflexive aspect. The reflexive aspect is governed by a feed-forward model. You might plan subconsciously, believe it or not, that when I hit the ground, I'm going to, produce force like this and this and this, whatever it might be. I'm going to get my limbs in this position. But it's not like when you're sprinting, you're like, now I've hit the ground, now I produce force, now I produce force, now I produce force, now I produce force. No, it's feed forward. You don't hit the ground and think, did I hit the ground appropriately? And then do I push off? No, the feedback from the ground is not governing the force production upon the impact of the ground. So two different kinds of models. Very important, because in sport, we do kind of both. And the debate is whether or not reflexive, like depth jumps and drop jumps and things where you have these rapid stretches on the body, are able to induce larger magnitudes of force production that our own voluntary efforts would not otherwise. And if by doing those kind of reflexive training, can we get better at voluntary initiation of force? Or, spinning it around, does voluntary training help my reflexive abilities? So there's a give and take here, and there's debate around it. And I think training both is really important for that reason, because they both are different qualities, and as you can imagine, have different neurological pathways. But if we think in sport being more times than not reflexive, you're hitting the ground, there are voluntary aspects involved. If voluntary aspects of lifting weights has shown to increase force production, and in turn have some carryover to your ability to jump or do a plyometric, then you can say to an extent that the volitional effort you produce at a minimum might augment and facilitate those reflexive actions, or even at a near maximum, you might go as far to extrapolate that it is the base from which the reflexive potential can be reached. Because again, it's drawing from the same physiological mechanisms, that is your muscles, but different neurological pathways through which the rate of initiation and the process of initiation occurs. Something to think about today while you drink your coffee, have your breakfast. I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you enjoy. As always, take care, drink coffee, You don't have to drink coffee. You can just drink whatever. I don't care. Tea, water, it makes no difference to me. Just enjoy your day. Hope you guys enjoy. If you guys like this, feel free to subscribe, comment, and let me know what y'all think. I appreciate you guys and take care.